the questions. So you can write your questions at any time through the panel called questions, and then we will be dealing with the live questions at the end of the session. I say that for the live audience because if you're watching the recording, you can still write the questions. You can also participate in that. Of course, we cannot answer them live, but they will be sent through to the staff of, I believe, to DTU. Besides that, we will have polling questions. We actually already opened up a polling question that you can find there. So you can provide us a little bit more feedback on your background, and we will open up a couple of more poll questions later. And last but not least, we have a little fun fact as well, a fun React button. At the bottom of the screen, you find React, and there you can give us one of your emoticons if you like to react to one of the presentations. Exactly, always nice to see those, just to make sure the presenters also feel there's an audience there and for you to react as well. So without further ado, however, let's go and start with the presentation. As we have lined it up, and as mentioned, the speakers will introduce themselves, starting with Mr. Andreas Brunn. And go ahead. Good luck.
Well, thanks a lot, and thank you for noticing us about these emoticons thingy. That's interesting. We didn't know that. But my name is Andreas Brunn. I am a Joint Master Program Coordinator at DTU. That means that I'm responsible for all the administrative stuff of all of our Joint Master programs, including the Nordic Five Tech ones. And that said, I'll give the floor to my good colleague Börje at Aalto.
Hello, I'm Börje Helenius from Aalto University, and I'm also coordinating all our N5T programs. I'm a planning officer in the School of Engineering. So nice to see you here all.
And I think that leaves me, and I'm Karin Odelius. I'm the Program Director of the Polymer Technology program.
Okay, and I can also just quick say hello. I'm Renee Hansen. I am an alumni. I am a former Climate Engineering student, and I'll say a bit about my experience as a student of one of the Nordic Five Techs.
All right, Andreas, go ahead.
So I go ahead, and as I told you, you know who I am. I will be so bold as to take this opportunity to very briefly just present a few DTU numbers. It will be quick, and I have already discovered a little typo in my circle there, but live with it. We have about 13,400 students at DTU. 5,300 of them, or 400 of them, are students, master students. That is where you will be placed if you are joining us. And of those 5,000 something, 2,500 students are international. That means at DTU we are quite international. We have staff and students from 114 countries. At least that was the numbers in 2021. And I would have a little circle on the gender balance, but I can see that the numbers don't really add up, and that's a shame. I don't know what happened, but let's just say that we have more males than females, and we would like more females, okay? So I will go ahead to my next slide, and that is to talk to you about what this is really about. We are here to talk about the Nordic Five Tech Alliance and the possibilities that this alliance provides you with. The Nordic Five Tech Alliance is an alliance of 5 technical universities in Denmark, Finland, Norway, and Sweden. We are rather old as alliances go. We were established in 2006 with the goal of utilizing our shared strengths and with a goal of creating synergies within the fields of education, research, and innovation. In total, on all of our 5 universities, we have more than 80,000 students. They are not all, of course, enrolled on the Nordic Five Tech tracks, but all the 5 universities together, more than 80,000 students. If we should put a few words on say if we should provide the Nordic Five Tech Alliance with a few characteristics, we would say that one of those characteristics would be Nordic values. We value openness, trust in each other, and we are convinced that people are equal, no matter their religious beliefs or where they come from, or gender and sexual orientation and all that. We also focus a lot on creativity and innovation, and of course, respect for nature and the environment. We think that our strengths complement each other. We share our best practices both in when we teach and when we do research, but also when we try to impact the world around us, our politicians and whichever organizations we are a part of. And the last characteristic I would mention is that we believe a lot in sustainability. All our activities, be that education, innovation, or research, are focused on contributing to the green transition and finding good solutions for sustainable societies of the future. And I'm sure you are all very interested to hear about the strategic background of our alliance. No, that's me being funny. What you also want to hear about is our actual programs. Because within this alliance, we have 5 joint master programs. All of them lead to a double degree. That means that when if you take one of these, you'll get 2 diplomas, one from each of the participating universities. As I said, we have 5. The first one is Cold Climate and Engineering, where DTU is coordinating, and our friends at Aalto and NTNU are partners. Then we have Environmental Engineering, where DTU is coordinating, and Aalto, Chalmers, and NTNU are partners. And then we have Innovative Sustainable Energy Engineering. Aalto is coordinating, DTU, Chalmers, and KTH are partners. And then we have Maritime Engineering, coordinated by Aalto, and participated by DTU, Chalmers, and KTH. And last but not least, Polymer Technology, coordinated by KTH and with DTU as a participant. What's important for you to know in this context is that you must apply at the coordinating university. For instance, if you wanted to go for the Cold Climate Engineering program, you apply through the DTU portal. If you want to apply to Maritime Engineering, you apply through Aalto's portal, and so on and so forth. Here you must bear in mind that local rules apply. That means that we have different deadlines, we have different tuition fees, we have different application fees, we have our own language requirements. So those are not joint. For instance, the DTU application portal has already opened, Aalto's has not. So you should check out the webpage on of the program you wanna go to if the portal is opened. It's probably not yet. Another thing that's quite important for you to know is that we have a joint admission process. That means that the partner universities in question assess all the applications together at the same time. We cannot do that until the application round is closed. That means that your admission letters or rejection letters will come out in somewhere around April. That is important to remember, because if you apply to other universities, maybe just for a regular master, you could be in a situation where you'll be accepted earlier. Say, just for the sake of the argument, let's say you get accepted to somewhere else in January and you haven't heard from us. Well, that's because we don't send out admission or rejection letters before April. So bear that in mind. And here I have a little, just a little visual presentation of where people come from, our students. It is from 2020 to 22. You can see the largest group is from India, and then we have China, and then we have Germany. Now, these are the 3 largest groups in all our Nordic Five Tech Joint Master programs. So that will give you a little impression of where people come from. I hope I don't speak too fast. Well, if I do, you have to watch the show again and rewind. Okay, now I'm going straight on to one of our programs, the Nordic Master in Cold Climate Engineering. Originally, this presentation about cold climate was supposed to be given by Gunvor Kirkelund, who is head of study on that program. Unfortunately, she fell ill. So I promised her that I would cover for her today, and that I was told fairly recently. But here we go. The cold climate program consists of 3 partners. We have Aalto, we have NTNU, and we have DTU. You can see also we have activities on Svalbard in Norway, and we have activities on the Arctic campus at Sisimiut, and I think that René will maybe mention that when we get that far today. There are 3 tracks on cold climate: space track, which is a cooperation between Aalto and DTU; land track, that's between DTU and NTNU in Norway; and the sea track between Aalto and NTNU. The mobility tracks on this program is as follows. As you can see, land track, it focuses on Arctic geoengineering. The first semester is always on DTU. The second semester is always on Sisimiut in Greenland, and the third and fourth always in Norway. And then we have the sea track, focusing on Arctic ships and offshore structures. Here you can choose between Aalto or NTNU as your starting point, and NTNU or Aalto as your exit point. And as for the space track, where that focuses on Earth observation and mapping, and here you can choose between a starting point on DTU or Aalto and an exit point on DTU or Aalto as well. And you can see we have a little link down there. Check it out and see if it's something you could be interested in. Also, it has fallen upon my tiny shoulders to give a little introduction about the environmental engineering program, which have a nifty name called Nordic Five Tech. This is basically about understanding and management, understanding the environmental stuff. Sorry. There are 4 tracks. The first one is residual resources engineering and industrial ecology. Here you start either at DTU or NTNU. And the next one, urban water resources engineering. Here you start at NTNU or Chalmers, or the other way around. And water resources management. And here you start at Aalto or DTU and end the other way around. And the last one is risk assessment and environmental systems. Here you start either at Aalto or DTU, and you end either at Aalto and DTU. I think I will just come with a little example here. As you can see, for instance, on the urban water and water resources engineering track, DTU is not at all involved, but you still have to apply through DTU's portal, because we forward the applications in a digital, secure way, of course, to our partners. And finally, here I will just give you a little. Angela says hi. She's the head of studies of the environmental engineering program. As you can see, she is thankful that I could cover for her as well. She could not attend because she had to teach, but I'm sure you can understand that teaching obligation is also sort of important for an associate professor. And that was my tour de force in our joint master programs. So I will mute my phone and give it to Karen.
Yes, well, good afternoon. It's a great pleasure to talk about the Nordic Five Tech program in Polymer Technology. We also have a little swift, little nifty abbreviation, which is N5 Poltech. And this program joins DTU and KTH as the universities. And I'm the program coordinator. And my name, like I said, is Karin Odelius, and I'm a professor in fiber and polymer technology. At KTH and at DTU, we have Anders Daugård, who is an associate professor. And this program is designed to give you large flexibility in your curriculum. So you will have 30 credits of general courses, and this is similar content or the same content in both universities, irrespective of which first-year university you choose. And then you have a lot of choices to really tailor the program by the choices and the wishes that you have for yourself in the future. The courses that all of the students are taking is about general knowledge and understanding polymeric materials. We will teach you how to go from a microscopic level to a macroscopic level in synthesizing and designing polymers. And we will also give you the tools to understand how the materials that have been generated get the properties, the physical properties they have, and how to interpret these physical properties. We will teach you about characterization, how to process the materials, and how we apply them in real life applications. You will also have the opportunity, of course, to get knowledge about the forefront of research within polymer technology. And what type of applications do we teach for? Well, it ranges anything where you have a polymer, so it could be for advanced healthcare or cosmetic, it could be packaging applications, it can be in energy production, it can be in composites, in surface coatings, and medical devices, in everything, really. And the two tracks that we do have is macromolecular materials, which is a track where you study your first year at DTU and your second year at KTH. Again, you have the 30 credits approximately of mandatory courses, but then you have the opportunity to combine, for example, fiber and polymer technology. So you will get introduced into the very important industry in the Nordic countries, which is the pulp and paper industry. In the Polymer Engineering track, which is then a starting year at KTH and then a finishing year at DTU, courses covering, for example, membrane technology or gels or elastomers, and of course much more for both tracks will be offered to you. This is some images from a trip that we jointly do every year. Of course, not during the pandemic, but we visit one of the Nordic countries and learn about culture, but of course, focus is on polymer technology. As Andreas said in the beginning, we are all in the Nordic countries very focused on sustainable development, and this program really gives you tools to contribute to the 17 development goals, sustainable development goals set by the United Nations. And we've sort of cherry-picked good health and well-being, industry, innovation and infrastructure, and responsible consumption and production as things that we really think that the program emphasizes and teaches you in. If you talk to a previous student and an alumni of the program, they'll tell you, I think, or they usually tell us at least, that they really like the way that the programs are set up, that you can really get both width and depth in your studies as you have the opportunity to do studying in two big universities in the Nordic countries. You will have a network of students that are alumni from the program, and you'll have a very high quality external stay during the program. So with that, I'll leave the word to the next speaker. Well, I just hope that we will see you in your future learning road. Thank you.
So, hello. I'm Börje Helenius from Aalto University, and I'm going to introduce you two of the programs which we are coordinating in Aalto. That means that you have to apply to Aalto University portal. They are actually open the websites already, but the online application is not there. So you can go and visit the website because all the requirements and descriptions about the courses are there. But we start with Nordic Master in Maritime Engineering. As you all know, Nordics are, I think, quite good in the maritime engineering area. Especially, I know that they are still making ships here, even in Finland. And if you're interested in ships, of course, including yachts or offshore structures, the design, operation, and interaction with the environment, this is a program for you. This is set up a little bit differently from the other programs that we have. A study path that during the first year you can choose whether you start in Aalto, DTU, Chalmers, or NTNU. Of course, you have to have different kind of background. If you want to start in NTNU and DTU, you have to have a naval architecture background. But it doesn't mind. Then you can start in Aalto or Chalmers. So you start first with some basics about naval architecture, maritime engineering, some stability, resistance, and propulsion, seakeeping, and maneuvering and ship and ocean structures. But then for second year, you choose a specialization. And at Aalto, you can take these passenger ships. We will make really big ships here, especially those who has been traveling from Finland to Sweden knows about the ships. Some really big passenger ships. So during the second year at Aalto, you can do studies in how to design, analyze, and optimize a passenger ship. In Chalmers, however, you do a ship design, not a shop design, but in that sense that you make they're more like problem-based, the studies that you're making a realistic ship design in a company or with a company there. And if you take the specialization in DTU, then it's called ship operations. Then you analyze rational methods, optimize the performance of ships, and not at least or last, the NTNU, where you can do especially offshore structures. And it's not common in many universities. If you're interested in offshore structures, then you can perhaps start in Aalto or Chalmers and go for NTNU for the last year. So the application period starts in December 15th, and the deadline is 1st of March. You can see the I can put it in the chat also. That's our study portal. And if you want to have some questions about this one, please make questions to me or our admission service, especially about the applications. Now we go on for innovation, sustainable energy engineering. So here, okay. So this is an energy program where you can apply if you are perhaps a student or a bachelor already, or working in energy field, and with a background of mechanical engineering, energy engineering, or I think chemical engineering would do, and also economics, because we have a special track for that also. So this is a really world-class education with different kind of study tracks. So you call it mobility tracks, where you can start in certain university, and the lead university. That's the main point in your study path. So if you start, if you're interested in wind power, then you can start in KTH and continue to DTU. Or if you have perhaps a chemical background, then you can take a heat and power engineering, start at Aalto and end in Chalmers. Or bioenergy, then you start in KTH and continue in Aalto University. And last but not least, if you want to take energy systems, perhaps if you are more into economics and society about how energy systems are working, then you start in Aalto and continue the next year in KTH. The application period for that one starts already 1st of January, and the deadline is for this program is 50th of January. So please, I just make that study portal address for you also in the chat, so you can go easily. You can go and see descriptions of the programs, the courses, and we have a special Ask admission event coming on December the 13th. So if you go to the portal, you can see the ad about that one. You can register already for that. So please come and listen to the questions about admission, and all the questions would go to this Joint Master aalto.fi. So any questions about this program could go there. I'll be happy to answer also if you could send the questions to me. So I think this was all from Aalto University coordinated programs. So who's next?
So I think that's me. So hi everyone. I will just kind of give you a bit of stuff on what I had, my experience with being a student at the CC or at the Nordic Five Tech, so on Climate Engineering. So, and it was just more of like, why did I choose this study line? So I have a bachelor in Earth and Space Physics and Engineering from DTU. I'm from Denmark, and I took my bachelor's in Denmark. And I had originally just decided to do the continuation of that specific master program at DTU. But during my my bachelor studies, I got really interested in satellite observations, in particular of Arctic regions and how we measure sea ice. So when I actually found out there was this specific master degree that focused on this, I was actually quite excited. And I also was pretty excited about that because I decided in my bachelor not to do any abroad studies because I wanted to do that for my master's. And then getting the opportunity of having 1 year abroad and then getting 2 degrees in one was pretty exciting. So that's kind of why I decided to do my climate engineering degree, which meant that I took the the road or the selection of doing my first year at DTU and then doing the second year at Aalto. It was kind of because I already lived at DTU, so it was pretty easy to start the master at DTU. I knew a bit of people there already, so it was just kind of a continuation of studies there. But whereas at Aalto, it was a bit of starting a completely new degree when I actually started there, because you get thrown into a lot of fun sort of festive stuff in the beginning, when you start a degree, all these events that you get to join. Also has a lot of different fun things for the students. They have a lot of, they call them guilds, but where you can come and you meet up with people, and there's a lot of different events, which was really, really exciting for me because it was different from DTU, where as a DTU student, I already had all of this in my bachelor. So I didn't do much of what they do for the international students that start at DTU, but I know DTU also does a lot of different things, but it was really exciting for me to be at Aalto and to be in a new place, which was really cool. I also did some, so I took the space track studies, which means that you are at DTU and Aalto. You're not really required to be at any of the other campuses that are. So you don't have to go to Greenland and Sisimiut. You don't have to go to Svalbard, which are some of the more requirements for the sea and the land track students. but you have the opportunity to potentially do some courses there if you want to. And if it matches your study plan, you just have to talk with people to see if you can do that. But some of what I really benefited from was that I got to do a lot of work on the side that I could do. Like I got to do some student job. I was a student assistant in Denmark when I started my degree on looking at GIS and relative stuff to mapping, which is part of the degree. And when I went to Finland, I also got to do my thesis at the Finnish Met Office, which was really exciting. I got to sit there and do all my work. Got some great friendships and meet some new people. I still speak with most of them. I am also currently working with some of them still. So I got some really great experience there. And then for me, one of the most exciting things about this was obviously that we get 2 degrees in one, which when I talk about it, people think is pretty cool and a bit, well, it's pretty awesome that you get 2 degrees in one. Also for me, it helped a bit in my future work. So I got a position as a young graduate trainee at the European Space Agency right after I finished in this particular stuff that I'm specialized in. And then instead of extending that, I decided to do a PhD at NTNU in collaboration with NTNU and UNIS through another Nordic Five Tech sort of alliance where you can actually do the PhD as well. So I would say I have really benefited from this alliance program, and it's been a really, really great experience for me, at least, especially with the cold climate engineering. I know they're a bit different, all the different ones, but especially that specific degree has been really cool for me. In my next slide, you can see a bit about what I'm doing now as a PhD student, because it's also part of the Nordic Five Techs. But I cannot change the slide myself. Yes, great. All right, so this is what I'm doing now, a PhD in mapping extreme sea ice features using a combination of remote sensing data and in-situ observations, which I started last year. And now I've already gone to Greenland and Svalbard, which is what you could do as a student also in the cold climate. I just didn't get to do it. And I've done some field work and some coursework there. And now I also potentially get to do a research cruise across the North Pole in the summer next year, which is really cool, and which I don't think necessarily I would have gotten that much into if I didn't have this cold climate degree. And the fact that because I did this particular PhD as an alliance PhD in Nordic Five Tech, and I only knew about it because I kind of already had was in the cold climate engineering degree program. But that also meant that I knew who I could contact at the alliance universities that are in the PhD part of it. So I contacted the NTNU cold climate engineering person to see if we could get funding for this alliance PhD, which we got. I got my supervisor that was at FMI when I was doing my thesis. He moved to UNIS in Svalbard, which meant that I asked him if he could co-supervise, and he would. So now I'm partly at UNIS, partly in NTNU in Norway, partly at DTU, getting a lot of cool international experience from that. But I wanted to show you specifically this because if you choose to do the cold climate engineering, you can go to Svalbard as coursework, which means you get a lot of cool fieldwork experience. We don't do that a lot at some of the other universities because it's just not as easily accessible as it is from Svalbard. So that's some of the cool things that you can get to do if you choose to go to Longyearbyen or Sisimiut campus in Greenland. You can get some exciting extra fieldwork that you don't necessarily get elsewhere as well, if you're interested in the Arctic. But this was just a bit of my experience. I'm happy to do any questions related to whatever you could think of that might be something you would wonder about with doing such a degree. Thank you.
Okay, then I think we're going to the Q&A, if I'm not mistaken, with that. And this is the moment for the audience members to be heard and to get your questions answered, hopefully. So let's dive in. First of all, actually, I'd like to mention that we, of course, take now the questions from the live audience. Should you be watching the recording, as I know a lot of people do these days, you can still write your questions by the panel at the bottom, questions. There you can write them in, and we will be sending them through to the staff of DTU and possibly others, of course, as well from Aalto and from KTH. Let's start off with the questions we received so far. Asan asked, will the program also include future smart metering systems for the renewable energy? Who is able to answer this question?
I really, perhaps I'm not the best person to answer it, but of course, all the renewables are inside our program, so I didn't just recall it.
I also have a little comment on that one. If we do not have that specific, if we do not cover that specific topic right now, I mean, the 5 programs that we have now, they are not like, cut in rocks. It could change. Some could disappear, and others could pop up. So I think that's the answer, at least if I understood the question correctly.
Okay.
And I can add to that in Aalto you can make courses all around our energy fields. So you can easily take some courses outside the curriculum also.
Okay, thank you. I hope that answered the question from Azan. Otherwise, let us know. Next question from Blendy asking, can I work in a Nordic country after the studies?
I can just say that at least some of the other alumni that I know of from Co-Climate are staying in the Nordic countries that they finish in. So we have at least one from Spain. He's staying in Norway and then working with some offshore stuff there. And one of the Americans that I met as well, he is staying in Finland. So trying to find some jobs there. They're at least searching for it. So as long as you can get all the visa stuff, which is a whole different thing, for sure it's definitely something that people are trying to do.
I can say about the legal thing in Finland, after you have graduated, you have time for 2 years of seeking a job in Finland. So, and I will say a lot of our students stay in the Nordic countries for a job, and sometimes I think most of the students already make thesis in a company, so it's quite easy when you already have a foot inside a company to continue there.
And I think I would also like to add to that question that, of course, you can stay in the Nordic countries and work. I mean, that is one of the reasons why we have these programs. We want the clever minds to work in our countries.
Thank you. We're getting the thumbs up, I see. So I hope that answered the questions to satisfaction as well. And next question from Lucas. What kind of study opportunities can you offer with someone with an aerospace engineering background?
I think that kind of depends on the interest from that aerospace background, because some people are more interested in like fluid mechanics or like the aerodynamics part of it, and some might be more interested in instrumentation or just space in general. My study background with the space track, you can focus a bit more on space systems if you want to as well. Or you can focus a bit on the offshore structure stuff as well, and the engineering parts. But I think it kind of depends on what interests you have with the aerospace degree already.
Okay, thank you very much, René. Hope that answered that for Lucas. Otherwise, let us know. Next question from Mer. saying, I'm from the United Arab Emirates. Can I join with a wireless RFG engineer and satellite background? Anyone who can answer and say something about that?
I think that's one of the questions that will require a written answer from one of the academics.
Okay. Yep, sure. We can always come back after the webinar, of course. So no problem. So another question from Anton, maybe also good to know. I'm studying in a PhD program. Can I join in one of the universities? Is it possible now for Russians to join? I know we have various Russians joining in. Is there something you can say about that?
I think there's no restrictions in Aalto University about that. I haven't heard anything about that. I'm not sure about other universities, but I think it's okay.
It's okay at D2 at least.
Yep. Okay, great. Thank you. Next question from Andreas. I'm a maritime engineer. How do I get in?
Well, you start applying from the 15th of December, and you see the Aalto portal there. So please go there and look at the requirements. I think you already have, hopefully, all the requirements for some study tracks. Then you have to decide about which university you want to start in and what specialization you want to have. So you have to choose between those specializations also, and also about the starting university. And bear in mind that if about the language test, it could take time to have a language test, but the deadline is 1st of March for the Maritime Engineering. So you still have time to do it.
Okay, I just shared the link to the program overview right there. And procedures, that is the general page for the Nordic Five Tech. You can browse through that and see the partnering schools as presented now. Also, you see the programs, Maritime Engineering, for example. So you can then click through and find more information and get also admission deadlines, etc. So that link, if you click on that, it opens and you can, at your own pace, maybe have a look after the webinar. Hope that helps that and helps Andreas. Daria has a question. Daria is asking, I want to do research in parallel programming in the USA. Where can I find a scientific advisor? Is that possible in the US university as well? Can you say something about this? To do research with the US university?
I think it's...
Is it something we maybe have to take offline as well?
For the academics, I think they could answer this, because usually in Aalto University, you should contact some of the professors directly to the institution. I think that's the main idea if you're in the research field, looking for a supervisor.
My words exactly.
Okay. Thank you. Then let's see, we had a couple more questions. All right, Altamash is asking, which program in maritime engineering is related to submarine structures?
Oh, it's a heavy one.
Very specific.
I don't know. No, if we really got that part of one of our study tracks, because I think there's no submarine industry in Nordic countries. I'm not for sure, not in Finland. Perhaps there could be some companies who are related to that field. Sorry, I can't tell anymore.
Okay. And thank you for that. I don't know if there's anything else we can add to that. Okay, thank you so far. Let's see if we have any further questions. So I see a question coming in from Mer. Can I enroll in a master degree if it's other than my academic background?
I will say yes. Depends on, like, if you want to study the energy program, then you can have a background for mechanical engineering or even economics, because there's this energy systems study track between Aalto and KTH. So that could be one possibility. But of course, you have to have the requirements with the math and statics. So just take a look at the requirements for each study track in energy program.
Okay, thank you very much. So he's following up actually a question I just saw coming in. What are the requirements typically? Can you say something more about that? You mentioned math. You're on mute, but yeah. Please unmute.
Sorry.
Thank
Sorry.
you.
So each study track has a special requirement, and like for these energy systems, the requirements are mathematics and or statistics for 20 ECTS, and some energy environmental related courses for 10 ECTS. So you have to have a bachelor, 180 minimum of corresponding this bachelor program, and then math 20 and then energy related or environmental related courses for 10 ECTS, European credit system.
Okay. Thank you. Let's see if there are any other questions that came in. Well, we got a question from Henrietta. Are there any available scholarships for international students, for example, for a master in engineering? As these are all in engineering, how about scholarships?
Well, if I could start from Aalto, so that's we have Aalto scholarship, which is a tuition fee waiver for non-Europeans, and then we have a scholarship called Finland scholarship. This is also for non-Europeans. And then of course there's a mobility scholarship. So for the Erasmus Plus, I think it's around 4,000 to 5,000 euros. So these are the options for scholarships in Aalto.
And it's about the same at DTU, the Erasmus scholarship and a tuition fee waiver. But one should bear in mind that tuition fee waivers, that's a very competitive process. We don't just, we only give them to the best students.
And I can add that we have the same type of system at KTH as well. There are tuition fee waivers as well.
Okay, thank you. Adriana has a question. Where can I see if my bachelor is okay to be accepted as an applicant for the Master in Environmental Engineering?
Well, the short answer is on the webpage. So I think that's it.
Okay, so check the link that I put in the chat. So there's the program overview, and there you should be able to find more information for the particular courses. So yeah, as mentioned there, you can also check probably the which bachelor is needed for environmental engineering. There's a link especially to environmental engineering, I saw. Okay, we're getting thumbs up. So That's good to see. Then at least we helped you hopefully in the right direction. That is what this webinar is for as well, and to get you, yeah, all the information you need. Having said that, we still have a couple of minutes left. If you have any questions, then this is your moment, and you can ask them to the panel. Well, Jona already jumped to that. Is there an application fee waiver? He's asking.
For the Aalto applications, there is no application fee. So this adds. This is for the ISE program and the Maritime Engineering program.
Okay, thank you. KTH, anything to add to the application fee waiver?
Yeah, I'm from the academic side here, so I don't know if I can actually answer, but I don't think there is one. But I
Okay, thank you. And we're getting thanks from the audience. So that's already good to see. Great. Well, if there are any last questions, we can still take them. And otherwise, we are soon at the end of the session. I'll share another time the link on the screen for the program overview. There you can watch all the information in more detail, so click on that. So there it is now on the screen. And also I will we have another interesting community for you, as we opened up a community for especially this webinar. There's a student community, so all of you're invited to connect amongst yourselves in the community. So I will paste the link in the chat. So if you have, I saw some people joining in from the same country, for example, then you can chat to each other there. You can maybe share information, help each other. Regarding the requirements, of course, maybe housing, even if you are looking to go, you might be able to even find fellow students to team up with. So do join us in the student community, and the recording will also be pasted there. So for people that join in later, you can find the link right there and watch the replay. For the people that are here actually live, you can, and you missed something or from the start, you can stay on, as the webinar will restart within minutes. So you can right away pick up and start from the start and see if you missed something. Okay, I see no further questions at this stage. So that means for the live audience, I guess all is clear. Again, for the people that join in on the recording, you can still write your questions, and we will be able to send them through to the staff. I have a last question, actually, that is a polling question. We already had several questions open, so everybody, thank you for your feedback. I'm publishing the last post right over my face right there. Sorry, Andreas, I'm blocking you as well. But there is a little feedback panel to see how we did. Let us know. We hope we met your expectations and were able to answer your questions and otherwise lead you in the right direction. So far already I see good marks. So thank you for that. And last word maybe over to Andreas to round off the session and your staff members to finish off.
Yes, thank you, Luke, for carrying us through this session. It was awesome, and I'm very happy that so many people participated, and you participated actively. And it can be a complex world. So I hope you will bear with us and remember that we are entirely open, completely open for questions and stuff. So just give us an email. And I don't know if any other of my colleagues will say something, but from my part, thanks a bunch. And Andreas, out.
Thanks, everyone, and bye-bye. Welcome everybody to this webinar that you joined to be part possibly of a Nordic success, as you can join and pursue a Nordic Joint Master at some of the best technical universities in Europe. That is also the title of